There is a vast difference between living from the mind and living from the heart. The mind is quick, analytical, restless, and always calculating what should come next. It seeks control, certainty, and security. The heart, however, speaks in silence, in feelings, and in the subtleties that often go unnoticed. It does not calculate, it knows. It does not demand, it invites. The heart is where life reveals its truest essence, where the meaning of existence becomes clear, not in the rush of thoughts, but in the quiet pulse of love, compassion, and presence. The art of living from the heart is an invitation to return to that deeper way of being, to live not as someone constantly chasing after life, but as someone who has chosen to live through life, in alignment with the core of their being. The book begins by showing us the contrast between a life guided by fear and a life guided by love. When we live in fear, every decision we make is influenced by what we might lose, what might go wrong, or how we might be judged. We choose safety over authenticity, routine over growth, and appearance over truth. But when we shift to living from the heart, fear no longer has the same power. Choices are no longer about avoiding pain but about embracing truth. Imagine someone staying in a job they dislike for years, simply because they are afraid of financial instability. Their heart quietly whispers of creativity, service, or perhaps a completely different path, but the mind silences it with logic and fear. Living from the heart means daring to honor that whisper, to step into the unknown with trust that what is true for us will always carry us. The book explains that the heart is not only the seat of emotions but also the compass of wisdom. It is not weak, as the world often suggests, but immensely strong. Compassion, forgiveness, and love are not signs of fragility, they are demonstrations of courage. Think of someone who has been deeply wronged. The mind urges revenge, or at least the harboring of resentment. But the heart offers another path, forgiveness. Forgiving does not mean forgetting, nor does it excuse what happened. It means choosing not to let the wound define us, choosing to free ourselves from the chain that binds us to bitterness. That act of forgiveness is not weakness, it is a declaration of strength. The heart teaches us that in letting go, we rise above the pain rather than sinking into it. Throughout the book, the message is clear: living from the heart transforms not only our inner world but the world around us. Relationships deepen, because the heart speaks in honesty and vulnerability rather than pretense and performance. Imagine a couple who constantly argue because both want to be right. Each one defends their position with logic, refusing to yield. The mind is at war. But the moment one person chooses to pause, breathe, and listen with the heart, something shifts. The energy softens. Instead of fighting for victory, they open space for understanding. In that space, love reappears. Living from the heart does not mean avoiding conflict, it means approaching it with compassion, listening beyond the words to the fears and desires hidden underneath. One of the central teachings of the book is the importance of presence. The mind is often lost in the past or rushing into the future. The heart, however, is always here, beating in this very moment. When we live from the heart, we begin to slow down and notice life as it unfolds. A simple walk becomes an experience of wonder, the sound of leaves, the rhythm of footsteps, the play of light. Sharing a meal becomes an act of gratitude, not just a routine. Talking with a loved one becomes an exchange of souls, not just words. Presence is not something we add to our lives, it is the essence of life itself, which we reclaim by dropping into the heart. The book reminds us that vulnerability is not a weakness but the key to authentic connection. In a world that celebrates strength, achievement, and control, we often hide our fears, our pain, and our insecurities. Yet, when we open our hearts and allow others to see us as we truly are, we create space for genuine love. Picture someone who always puts on a strong face, never admitting their struggles. On the surface, they appear unshakable, but inside, they feel alone. When they finally allow themselves to be vulnerable, perhaps admitting to a friend that they are scared or tired, they discover that others do not reject them but embrace them. That moment of vulnerability becomes the bridge to intimacy. The art of living from the heart is the art of embracing our humanity, not hiding it. Another profound insight the book offers is about service. The heart is naturally oriented toward giving, toward reaching beyond the self. When we live only for ourselves, even success feels hollow. But when we live with the intention of serving, our lives take on deeper meaning. Service does not always mean grand gestures. It can be as simple as listening with full attention, helping someone carry a heavy bag, or offering kindness to a stranger. These small acts ripple outward, often more powerfully than we realize. Consider how one smile, given on a difficult day, can change someone's entire outlook. The heart reminds us that no act of love is ever wasted, it always multiplies. The journey of living from the heart also involves embracing stillness. In the noise of modern life, silence can feel uncomfortable. We fill every moment with distractions, phones, conversations, tasks, afraid of what we might find if we sit quietly. Yet, the book teaches that stillness is where the heart speaks most clearly. In silence, we hear the truths buried beneath our busyness, the dreams we have suppressed, the pain we need to heal, the gratitude waiting to be expressed. The art of living from the heart is, in many ways, the art of listening, to ourselves, to others, and to life itself. Transformation, the book explains, happens gradually, like the turning of seasons. Living from the heart is not about sudden perfection, it is about practice. Each day offers opportunities to choose love over fear, presence over distraction, forgiveness over resentment, vulnerability over pretense. And every small choice builds into a greater transformation. Imagine a person who has spent years being critical of themselves. At first, shifting to self-love feels impossible. But little by little, through moments of kindness toward themselves, choosing rest instead of overwork, speaking gently to themselves after mistakes, they begin to heal. Over time, that self-love radiates outward, changing how they interact with everyone around them. This is the ripple effect of the heart. When we transform within, the world transforms with us. The book also acknowledges the challenges of living this way. Life will test us. There will be moments of heartbreak, loss, disappointment, and doubt. The heart will sometimes feel fragile. Yet, even in those moments, the heart holds wisdom. Grief, for example, though painful, is not a sign of weakness but a sign of love. We only grieve deeply what we have loved deeply. By allowing ourselves to feel fully, without running away, we honor both the pain and the love beneath it. Living from the heart does not shield us from suffering, but it teaches us how to suffer with grace, how to turn even pain into growth. Ultimately, the art of living from the heart is about trust. Trusting life, trusting ourselves, and trusting the unseen wisdom that guides us. The mind demands evidence, but the heart moves in faith. It knows that even when the path is unclear, something larger is at work. Think of the many times in life when a seeming setback later revealed itself as a blessing. The relationship that ended, opening the door to someone who truly valued us. The job that was lost, leading us to a calling that fulfilled us. At the moment, it felt like a fall, but later we saw it was a rise in disguise. Living from the heart is about trusting that even in the dark, light is present. As the book closes, it leaves us with a vision of what life looks like when lived from the heart. It is not a life without challenges, but it is a life of depth, meaning, and connection. It is a life where success is not measured by possessions or recognition, but by the love we give, the peace we cultivate, and the authenticity we embody. It is a life in which we are not merely surviving, but fully alive, alive to beauty, alive to relationships, alive to purpose. To live from the heart is to live with courage. It is to choose love even when fear seems louder, to choose presence even when the mind wants to escape, to choose kindness even when anger tempts us. It is not always easy, but it is always worth it. For in the end, what matters most is not what we achieved, but how deeply we loved, how fully we lived, and how true we were to the voice within.